Hello and welcome back to the Motorsport Baithak podcast. I'm your host Didi, and joining me today once again is my friend and your co-host Vedant. On this episode, we'll be reviewing the 24 hours of Le Mans. So let's grab some chai, take our seats, ready our opinions, and dive right into the conversation. Hello Vedant, what a great weekend! 24 hours of racing, and you could have asked for more drama in any 24-hour period. The race started off with the 708 number 708 Glickenhaus car punting off the number 8 Toyota Gazoo racing car at the very first turn as the race started in wet conditions, and there was last lap heartbreak for the rookie team, car 41 of Team WRT, as they were leading the LMP2 category by over 30 seconds and ended up not even being classified, classified as DNF at the end of 24 hours. So a lot of drama throughout the race, but it was just there wasn't like a lot going on all the time, but there was just enough to keep you interested and just enough to create good storylines coming out of this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. See, we knew what was going to happen, so heading into the weekend, more or less, because the hypercars were going to be dominated by Toyota. The GTE Pro and the LMP2s were going to be the most competitive fields, and the GTE AM were going to be, sort of extra cars, just thereabouts as such, because there's not much coverage about them. So, and that's just what happened. But the amount of drama and amount of competition in LMP2 and GTE Pro is just incredible.
Definitely, let's just shortly cover the hypercar category. Obviously, the biggest storyline was the fact that the previously luckless number 7 Toyota Gazoo Racing's hypercar crew of Mike Conway, Kami Kobayashi, and Jose Maria Lopez finally claimed overall victory at the 24 Hours of Le Mans from their number 8 sister car, who has been winning Le Mans for the longest time, for as long as you can remember, with Fernando Alonso in the seat. But this year we had Sebastian Buemi, Kazuki Nakajima, and Brendan Hartley at the wheel of that car. But as I said before, they got punted off at the very first lap of the race by the number 708 of Glickenhaus car, and had to pit immediately after to make repairs to the car. However, they did really well throughout the race to come back within 2 laps of the leading Toyota number 7 car, and basically finish with them in almost
the formation finish,
movie-esque fashion, side by side across the finish line, like everyone wants to see them, and as they have been doing it for the past few years. Obviously, the number 36 Signatech Alpine Matmut team rounded off the podium place in the hypercar category. Kind of disappointing for me to see the 2 Glickenhaus cars not do as well. Obviously, this is their first season in endurance racing, and it's a whole it's a huge effort in itself to just as a privateer, to be a part of this particular, be a part of this elite group of hypercars. But still, you want them to do well. You want to see them in the mix, and I hope they can do better next season at Le Mans.
Yeah, on the bright side, they didn't have any issues. I think most of their pit stops were scheduled stops. They didn't have any emergency pit stop as such. And so, all in all, it was a very positive weekend for Glickenhaus, because they finished the race. Obviously, they were a few laps behind the leading pack, but still competitive enough to challenge for that podium in the dying stages.
Absolutely, and more importantly, ahead of the LMP2 cars, who were in theory faster around Le Mans, which was more important. But like I said, the LMP2 category was way more exciting. Now coming to what happened on the last lap of the race, obviously the number 41 Team WRT car was leading its sister car in a 1-2 formation almost, but leading them by 30, I think close to 33 seconds. However, on the last lap, as Yifie was almost halfway through the lap, the car ground to a halt because of mechanical issues, and then Robin Freins in the number 31 car took the lead from their teammate from the sister car, and held off the number 28 Joda car to finish 0.7 seconds ahead at the finish line. So that was a photo finish, really close. But great victory for a rookie team like the Team WRT, who were going to finish 1-2, but nonetheless taking the win with Robin Freins, Ferdinand Hasberg, and Charles Milesi. And guess who was in the number 41 car? Robert Kubica, didn't have the greatest F1 return, but we could have seen him win in the LMP2 category today, but it was just not to be. And then the Panis Racing number 65 car of James Allen, Julian Canal, and Bill Stevens completed the podium places.
It's incredible because the Team WRT, I think this is their first season in prototype racing in LMP2. They have been incredible in sports car racing. GT racing, exactly. So, but this is the first season in prototype racing, and they have been dominating European Le Mans absolutely. And to come to 24 hours of Le Mans and, up against the
almost have a 1-2 finish, yeah.
Absolutely, and up against the big teams that have been participating in WEC regularly. It's an incredible achievement. And yeah, and the as you said, the photo finish for the LMP2 category, I mean, they were bundled up with a few GT back markers, a few GT cars. So it was absolutely...
Yeah, and they also had the Toyota Gazoo Racing, the number 7 and number 8 slowing down the entire pack as they were, heading towards the finish line in a formation. So that was also something that was in the way of the two cars racing, and people thought that there might end up being an incident or something as they were approaching the finish line.
But that's the beauty of Le Mans and endurance racing and multi-class racing. You just see a lot of things. I mean, you can't imagine seeing this in any other category except endurance racing. So it's just incredible.
And then GT Pro was just even more exhilarating in my opinion. We had the two cars from Corvette Racing and the two F cars of Ferraris going wheel to wheel for more than half of the race. And then there's heartbreak for number 52 as it had to be as I think it had a few mechanical issues. I don't exactly remember what happened, but it fell down the order. I think it finished 5th at the end. And the Corvette Racing also had the number 63 car of Corvette Racing had some issues halfway into the race too. But at the end of the day,
the first Corvette car I think crashed out way early in the night.
Probably, I'm not exactly sure about that. But at the end of the day, the number 51 AF Corsa Ferrari of James Collado, Alessandro Pierguidi, and Come Ledogar came ahead of the number 53 Corvette of Antonio Garcia, Jordan Taylor, and Nicky Katzberg to take the win. And then the Porsche number 92 of Neil Jani, Kevin Estre, and Michael Christensen, rounded up the podium places in the GTE Pro category. But it was super close the entire time, and you have to give it to the number 51 AF Corsa Ferraris. They ran an immaculate race from start to finish. Absolutely no issues. Everything was on point, and I don't think I've seen a cleaner 24 hours of race from any car except the Toyota Gazoo Racings, who had their fair share of issues, but haven't seen a cleaner race in a long while in a WEC championship.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, honestly, I was a bit disheartened because we didn't see the Porsches right there for the win, fighting for the win.
Obviously, pretty surprising that.
Yeah, we have seen Porsche and Ferrari fight for the win for a few years now, and it was, I mean, Porsche were the fastest in qualifying as well. Even the privateer teams, a privateer team got the pole position, right? So, I mean, but they just did not have the pace. It did not have the race pace. They even had the fastest lap of the class in the race, but did not have the race pace overall. So pretty disheartening. But yeah, as we said earlier, as you said earlier, brilliant weekend for Ferrari overall.
Yeah, I was just coming to that. Rounding up the brilliant weekend for Ferrari was the number 83 AF Corsa in the GTM class of Franco Perrodo, Nicholas Nielsen, and Alessio Rovera, taking victory from the number 33 TF Sport Aston Martin of Ben Keating, Dylan Pereira, and Felipe Fraga. That was a close one too. Throughout the entire race, both the Aston Martin and the Ferrari were going toe to toe. Although at the end, at the end of 24 hours, the Ferrari did lead the Aston Martin car by I think a minute and 40 seconds. However, it was exhilarating nonetheless, and you have to give it to the AF Corsa team. What a showing at Le Mans and what a showing at DTM2 this weekend, winning with Alex Albon this morning, and then making it an even better weekend for Ferrari was the number 80 Iron Lynx team of Matteo Crissoni, Rino Mastronardi, and Callum Eilert, who finished in third in the GTM category. So overall, it was Ferrari in the GT categories this weekend, and then great stuff from WRT, and as usual, Toyota Gazoo Racing finishing on the top step of that podium.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's the 24 hours of Le Mans. It's even if it's a boring race, there is still so much going on, and it was absolutely the story this year, and we can't wait to be back there next year. And I mean, I'm hoping to go to Le Mans for the 2023 event, which would be the 100th anniversary event. And I mean, I want to go to Le Mans. Obviously, we all want to go to Le Mans, but if I can choose one year, it would be that. So let's see how that goes.
And that year you'll definitely have a larger field in the hypercar category, especially. We know that Peugeot is joining next year, and then we should have Ferrari, Porsche, and Audi by 2023, and hopefully Alpine will finally announce their entry in the hypercar category. Even though, because currently it's just like a Rebellion. The Rebellion LMP1 car has been rebadged as the Signatech Alpine car. Currently.
And with the convergence of LMDH and hypercars, we can even see the Acuras and the Mazdas and the Cadillacs of IMSA come to Le Mans for that.
And these guys, go race at the Daytona 500. That'll be another event to check in the endurance racing calendar. And I was about to close the podcast, but I just remembered another issue. I think the IMSA rules require that every manufacturer produce at least 2,500 homologated cars for the LMDH prototype class or something like that. And I think that becomes an issue with the Glickenhaus team, because they don't produce high volume cars. So I think that there's a debate there. I don't exactly know how it works out for the prototypes, but from what I have read online, it seems that Glickenhaus might not be able to participate if those rules exist at the end of at the start of next year's season.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I think the whole issue revolves around the hypercar and the LMDH, because they are two separate type of cars running in the same category. So I think that would be a grey area as such if they want to find one. But another thing I want to talk about is, should the team WRT compete for WEC next season, because they have shown that they can beat the absolute best WEC runners, right? And they can absolutely clinch the European Le Mans title this season. So should they run WEC next season or not, or stay with European?
Given their performance, there is absolutely no reason for them to not challenge for the WEC title if they deem that to be a priority, or something that they want to achieve. And who knows? Maybe they'll step into IMSA at some point, given the success in the European racing circuit. I mean, WRT has been definitely on fire ever since they have been on fire in the past, and they have definitely been on fire this season after joining the LMP2 category, like you've mentioned before. But yeah, that's really all from my side. Without anything else from you?
No, I mean, I think I would have preferred to watch a lot more than I did this year, but I was having headaches and everything, so I slept a lot. But regardless, it's always next year, and with Peugeot joining in, the hypercar category would be even more interesting.
And hopefully they'll give Toyota Gazoo Racing some real competition alongside the Alpine and Glickenhaus racing teams, who should come back in better shape next year. But yeah, that's all from our side. Thank you once again for listening to us, and we'll catch you on the next one.